Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 82 of our Let's Play series, War in the East 2, Stalingrad to Berlin scenario. This episode, we're going to finish up turn 42 of the series, and we're going to begin just south of Kursk, where we left off last episode. It's going to be, I think, pretty exciting as we continue pressing deeper and deeper past the front lines, and how we kind of manage a lot of the administration work that we need to take care of as we so rapidly move forward. We want to make sure we're staying efficient with our decisions, organizations, etc. So really looking forward to this episode. The last 3 or 4 episodes I've been having just so much fun. It's always a great time recording these and playing the game, of course, but some episodes are just a little bit more enjoyable than others when there's so much action, so much volatility on the front lines, and so many decisions to be made. It really does make it quite interesting. And I'm hoping that that translates to interesting content for you to view as well. Looking just south of Kursk here, really kind of this pocket is where we left off. So right off the bat, we do see that they have some weaker units here that are kind of defending this northeastern approach of the front line, intermixed with some decent units. Down here we've got this Latvian motorized brigade, which gave us some trouble in past episodes, and then they've got this element of the 20th Panzer that with the fortification level 1 is going to be a little bit more difficult to go around. And we also have over here a situation where we can probably try to go south of this element of the Totenkopf Panzergrenadier Division. So I think those are all things we're going to try to look to do this turn. We're of course going to be more mindful than I have been in past episodes of how ready are some of these units. So for example, this rifle corps, we need to remember we don't actually have it available given the condition that it finds itself in. But rather, maybe what we'll do is we'll take forward this rifle division, which is a little weaker, but it's something, and we're going to probe to see what is actually here. And it looks like an element of the 5th Panzer Division. So that's probably going to be too much for us to break through in. Well, we can maybe go around them, though. That's the thing. So this mechanized corps, though, looks pretty weak. Again, we got to be mindful of this. Yeah, so medium tanks, they have 10% of their medium tanks as they should. So I really don't know that I want to press them like that. And these rifle divisions aren't going to be enough to actually break through from a movement point perspective. This tank corps can, and that's actually looking, moderately well supplied. 75% of their medium tanks, kind of the good measure. Those recon tanks, they're of course useful, same with the tank destroyers, but really the workhorse of these units are those medium tanks, which will be the T-34s. So we have the tank corps there, and then we have those rifle divisions. Wondering if we can find a way to still push through this unit. So let's see with this rifle corps we just moved over if we can push through. Let's see if there's a support unit, maybe some armor that we can give it. I don't know that I want to give them the 30th Tank Brigade, but I think we probably can assign them this anti-tank regiment, this Guards anti-tank regiment, to try to help against the armor of the 5th Panzer Division element that we have here. So let's try attacking. And they did hold again. That's a little unfortunate. Well, I think we want to get behind them here with this armor. And we're going to take this rifle division south here. Take this rifle division up here along the line. And this rifle corps isn't really available to us. This motorized unit is not combat ready. I'm actually going to bring it down here closer to its HQ. It's a rifle corps. Just seeing if we have anything mechanized that we can sneak up there. So we're being really aggressive with this tank corps. But I'm suspecting that they're going to pull back, again wanting to avoid being kind of entrapped, such as what we managed to do with this element of the 23rd Panzer Division and the Hungarian Reserve Division. With that in mind, though, let's continue now with the rest of the line and where we can break forward. Well, this is a cavalry corps. Oh, it gets close there. It really does get close. I'm wondering if we can actually use it to break through that panzer unit. I really, really want to push them out. Let's try it. Let's try pushing through. Great. Great. That's going to be very helpful then. That was a good outcome for us. So we're still not going to be able to actually connect to this tank corps, but I think they're in a much better position now. They won't be under threat of the 5th Panzer counterattacking. I could see them taking this element to the Totenkopf's Panzer Grenadier Division and maybe attacking them. But that then will just further weaken their defensive position here, allowing us to try to break through. I don't know actually that we dealt with these units. Well, oh yeah, this mechanized corps just really isn't ready for combat. But these we all moved this turn, so we'll leave those where they are. So yes, continuing down here, we took a cavalry corps off the line. So now we have to think about what we're putting there instead. I think we'll take up this rifle corps, which also looks a little beat up. Yeah, they're very beat up. And over here, you're on refit. Do you need to be? Looks like you do. Yeah, 50%. Actually, kind of slim pickings that we've got here. This rifle corps looks ready, though. 22,000 men. You're in a. Don't even need to check that one. You're in a good state. And see if you can push back this element to the Viking SS Panzer Grenadier Division. They cannot. I could have swore the Viking SS Panzer Grenadier Division was south by Odessa last turn that we saw them down there. Might have to go back and look at that. If they've got that unit split across the front here, that would be quite incredible. This rifle division, we're going to move forward. Back here, this rifle corps is in reserve. That's fine. The artillery, we're going to move forward. Down here, I think we have an opportunity to try to break through with this motorized unit, this Sturm Brigade. So let's try that. See if we can break through. We did. So we captured a depot, and it looks like a flak element surrendered. So that's good news for us. A little village here, it looks like. And what we're going to do is actually take this 3rd Guards Rifle Division up here into that village. Again, putting the pressure on whether or not they're going to hold the line to fit. What do they have here? They have the Sturm Brigade. What else? I'm going to press that. We're going to attack there. No, they held. So that was not a good decision on my part, but I really wanted to see what they had there and if we could break through. It looks like they had the element of the 8th Panzer, so not a great decision on my part. But I was optimistic that maybe it was an HQ of the units that were around here. It was not. So all's well, we'll continue on south of the line here. So obviously we're not going to be able to push through this Latvian motorized brigade. We're in a little bit of a precarious position here with this rifle division sitting between this Panzer Grenadier division and the Latvian motorized brigade. That's not ideal. The army that this unit's part of might be able to lend some support though, so this rifle division, I think what we can do is we'll actually move them north here, and that should be enough then to deter any type of counterattack from them. Over here, this rifle corps looks a little worn, 60%. It's not great, but still it's a pretty powerful unit. Do we have anything that could maybe help them break through, like this tank corps? How are they doing? Ooh, 50% of their armor. That's not great. And I think it would probably be more well spent to try to break through here in the middle. So let's take this rifle corps forward and let's try to break through right in the middle. Sturm Brigade was committed. That won't be too much of an issue. Alright, so we retreated them. Did take some armor losses, but got them out of there. Now I think we can try to break through south. So retreat at them. That's good. We'll take this rifle corps forward. This rifle division. Wondering if it's possible to reallocate this rifle corps down south in this pocket. It doesn't look like it's going to be able to. We can't advance into that hex given the pressure from these surrounding units, which is a little unfortunate. I don't think we're going to be able to break through here. The tank corps that we have up here would be enough to get through, but just barely. And that's really kind of exposing it then. So let's just make sure that there's something else we could get here other than the tank corps, because I don't want to leave it alone there. I don't know that there is. We may have wasted that opportunity when we did the second attack with this rifle corps. This tank corps is not looking too bad if it has 165 armor. Yeah, so you're good to go. Your supplies are low, but you're good to go. Actually, shockingly, your supplies are low too. This is interesting. But we can move up there. And then let's see. We don't have the ability to attack with you. Yeah, we're not going to be able to break through, so we're not going to attack there. Let's see, though, if we can give you any type of support, maybe through some infantry of some kind. There's AA, artillery, anti-tank. We're going to give you the separate tank battalion, and then we're going to give you this anti-tank regiment. And then we'll look at the 2nd Guards Army. Oh, sorry, that's the one we just did. 4th Guards Tank Corps. Oh, excellent. So we can give them the 100 Guards Heavy Tank Regiment. And then this motorcycle regiment is going to give them some infantry that will be very, very useful for them in a more defensive position. Now, this is kind of the balancing act, though, because that's actually going to draw down their supplies even more as it cycles through the next turn, because they're now, splitting their foodstuffs and ammunition, etc., across more personnel. But I think they're going to have enough to hold on, and we should be able to recover their supply position pretty well over this next turn, I think. We're going to take up the HQs that support these units, though, just to get it a little closer there. So that's good. This rifle corps can come off refit at 23,000 men. You're certainly okay. I do wonder if we try attacking this 18th motorized. Now, I think it's better to go around. That's definitely the better play, is to go around. So we're going to do that. This rifle division can come forward. This rifle division can come forward. And this rifle division we will bring forward. So we're getting ourselves ready to next turn really break through. And again, the target that we're putting pressure on here is Kiev. Right? This is, I'm anticipating this little circle, this pocket, is where they're really going to try to allocate a lot of resources towards to try to prevent our advance towards Kiev, is my expectation. These 2 rifle divisions, we will move you forward. And this rifle corps, you're looking better. Let's see. Not great, though. What else do we have back here? The 1st Guards Rifle Corps, we're going to take forward here. We're going to try to push through this stack. Rout at them. Ooh, that feels good. That's very nice. Very nice indeed. And then we're going to take these guys forward. And then this tank corps is going to push through against this element of the 20th Panzer. But they were unable to do so. Oh, we're crossing a river. You see, that's my fault. And I need to toggle the counters more frequently than I do. Because I should have seen that there's that river there. That makes it much more difficult than for those, armor units to break through. So let's push this rifle corps there at 60%. I think it's worthwhile to try to actually make a breakthrough on the river here. So they've now made it through. That's good. And the tank corps, yeah, we're not going to be able to advance largely because of the river. We're going to take... Oh, this mechanized corps has 2 armor. That's not good. It's supposed to have 101 T-34s. So we're going to take you off of the front lines. So there's not some desperate situation where we need you on the front. And we're going to take this infantry division south. This rifle corps, I think, will come here. This rifle division will go forward. We're capturing that depot. And we're now going to attack this SS Estonian motorized brigade. So that was successful. I think we can take this rifle division and move them into that new vacated hex. We'll bring up this artillery, which should be put into reserve. And let's see here with this cavalry corps. Probably better to bring them up here. I'm going to try to break through right in the middle here. Let's do it. They held. Those damn rivers. Really, that's the problem. Okay. Well, so that didn't work, but we can still take this tank corps and let's try to push our way south here. So we retreat at them. That's good. This rifle division is now in a state where they can advance. This rifle corps can come forward. Between the two, we're going to push these guys back. Good news there. Not able to advance anymore with those guys, but we have another rifle corps because they just keep on coming. Before we move that one, though, we're going to take this rifle division and try to push here. Retreat at them. Excellent. Then I'm going to try to leapfrog here the rifle division and have you push here. They held. Okay, fair enough. Let's try again. Yeah, they held pretty easily. We only lost 22 men trying that, though. Ooh, you're not going to be able to make it up there. So let's bring you here. And let's actually try to push on this unit. And that was a really good idea because we captured the 5th Panzer Corps depot, and we didn't allow them to actually get dug in there, which is really the important part. This artillery division can come forward, and we're going to toss them into reserve. The HQ needs to come forward a little bit. I should be mindful of that over here as well. I'm going to take that HQ forward. This one really needs to come up. Do one more because I don't want the HQ sitting in the forest necessarily. You know, I left a rifle division up here that we could probably just want to get it closer to the front, if that makes sense. Let's bring them down there. Now, I want to see, too, if there were any counterattacks that were worth mentioning that we can look at here. No? Oh, I didn't. There we go. Just one here, it looks like. They push back our mountain division. Okay. Yeah, again, I think if I remember correctly, actually, it was really all in the northern half of the line that they counterattacked in the previous turn, now that I think about it. So we're continuing our march towards Kiev here. Let's see what we can do. We're here. So we can get you there with 9 movement points. So let's do this. Let's have this rifle division move over here. And let's have them push on this hex. I don't know what it is, but we push them back. And let's have them push here. They held. Okay, that's fine. This cavalry unit, though, we're now going to bring up. And let's have them push further. Pushing even more up the river here. Excellent. Excellent outcomes. Take this airborne division. We'll have them attack here. Good. That went well. And we'll have them attack here. And that retreated them. Good. Now, we take this rifle division forward. And we'll take you forward. Need to actually remember to leave something here on defensive line. I can't take everyone forward, but we'll certainly try to. Let's have you come up here. What else do we have available? You know, let's try to push here. Good. So, a couple of leaders were killed, it looks like. Wait, Hermann Göring was killed? Hermann Göring was just killed. Really? That was interesting. Yeah, let's look at that again. So, I actually don't know offhand if the leaders that were killed are seen here in this battle review. I don't think they are. I mean, overall, their just losses were nothing significant, but I thought that said Göring. Were there two Görings? I don't know. Can we see that in the commander's report? I don't know that we can. Let's see though if it shows us German. It does not. Okay. Lost a screen? I really want to try to find this if it was actually in here. I don't think we're going to find it there either. Okay. Well, we'll continue on. Be something for maybe a little bit further research I'll try to do off camera, or again, maybe folks in the comment section know as well, where we can go back and actually look at some of that. So we'll see if anybody has any ideas there. Fortification level 2, I just don't feel it's necessary to actually attack that, so we're just going to leave it as is. We'll move the HQ one up into the city there. This is the unit that was counterattacked in the previous turn. We're just going to bring them up there in the city with the HQ. Not expecting any type of counterattack from any of these forces. And now we look at our forces that are south of the Dnieper and see, and frankly, they don't have to stay south. Like actually here we could maybe move up, but let's focus on south of the Dnieper. It's looking like their defenses are a little bit stronger in the south. So let's try to keep pushing through, because I don't want to have to try to advance only on the north bank of the Dnieper. So we pushed back here the 260th Infantry Division, which is one of the more considerable things that were in our way. And that mechanized corps can't do much now that we've done that. Yeah, it's getting a little tough here. I think we can try and push here, though. Yep, okay. So all their pockets of meaningful resistance, we just want to try to go through like warm butter on bread. This rifle division will go up there too. Good. So it looks like they've been preparing fortifications kind of behind the line here, which we had expected. We had kind of anticipated that in previous turns. But now we're seeing that really kind of unfold. I think we'll bring you north here. And this rifle division we can bring north as well, because this is actually their corresponding army is actually up there as well. And that cavalry division can stay there. And then we'll bring in this rifle corps to, we'll just push a little bit down here. It's not quite as important, but we'll push a little bit. And then we've got elements of the 65th Army that can fill in the line here. So take them up. And 65th Army again can go straight here. 65th Army Rifle Division will go here. Let's then try to push back the security unit, route at them. 1,800 out of their 1,900 men, so that they're pretty much a non-functional unit now. And 65th Rifle Division can go forward here, putting them in a bit of a precarious position there. Maybe I shouldn't have been that aggressive with it, but we're going to be okay, I think. Here, I think I might want to take the 57th Army and reposition the 57th Army north on the drive to Kiev. I want to throw even more units on the drive north to Kiev. So we're going to do that. So we're going to take the 57th Army as much as we can. We're going to get them as far north as we can. Really trying to cross the Dnieper as well, where possible. Yeah, so that way these guys can continue and support that advance on the drive. This is good. There is a lot of pain kind of heading to the access here along this river. Now what we'll do is, just to plug that little hole that was left, is take from the 56th Army, this airborne division, forward, and ta-da! We have an effective front line, a little bit of a weak point here, but we have defense in depth if needed. A little bit of weak point here, again, same thing. Not too worried about that. Really, these units are looking so strong because they haven't split them up yet. So you can see here, this is the full 3rd Panzer Division. This is the full 24th Infantry Division. Up here, we're dealing with, so this is the first element of the 1st Infantry Division. This is, that's just a cavalry regiment. This is the second element of the 161st Infantry Division, right? They've had to spread their units a little bit more as we've created this pocket. In the south, I anticipate these guys are going to fall back as we keep advancing, though. I don't think they're going to stay like this for long. And we can do things to try to help make sure that happens, such as outflanking them through this pocket. So let's do that. We'll take this airborne division up here. Oh, perfect. We can get through there. Yeah, retreat them. And you're part of the 37th Army, but you can continue just west here. This rifle corps we're going to have come up here, and we're going to push through. Good news. That worked. More elements of the 56. So let's have that rifle brigade come up there. And then this airborne division can actually, well, let's have them be a little bit more conservative. We'll have them come up here and we'll try to break through. They had some fortifications. That was always going to be a little bit more difficult. Tempted to have this element of the 47th. They'll go north. And let's try that again. Retreated both of them. Okay. Yep, so now we're threatening to come in behind all of these elements. I do think they're then going to pull back. And I always want to keep this momentum heading north towards Kiev as much as possible to force them into that situation. We'll take this rifle corps up here. So they have to contend with that next turn as well. You should not be in the North Caucasus front. I need to spend even more energy than I already am on kind of managing those situations, I think. We'll put you in the 56 Army, even though you're already overburdened, just because there's more opportunity for you to go north there. Put you there, I think. Now over here, this cavalry corps, come up here, and then let's use this rifle division to try to push this unit out. They retreated. Let's attack them once more, and we routed them. How delightful. This rifle division will come up here. And this is fine. It's getting a little bit congested and such, but it'll be okay. This guy needs to go into refit. You need to go into refit. Did we have counterattacks down here last turn? Let's see. If I can click the button. We did. Actually, this whole pocket they counterattacked in. So let's take a look at some of that. So they routed this rifle corps, which we'll have to find out where that went. Then we had 2 retreats here of this cavalry corps, which I think we just moved up here. I think that's the 4th Guards Cavalry Corps, and the 275th Rifle Division. We're here, the 318th Rifle Division retreated. We weren't taking any major losses in any of these battles necessarily. Well, see, I say that, and then here we have almost 3,000 men that were lost. I mean, nothing catastrophic, and yeah, that's all fine. We can handle those losses. And there's the other rifle brigade that was retreated. Wonder if that rifle corps went down south here? Trying to think of where that could be. I said it was a rifle corps that was part of the North Caucasus front as well. So actually what we can probably do is, where is the North Caucasus front? It's here. That will then tie out to all of our units assigned. So we have one here. The 4th Rifle Corps. Unready. Yeah, you sure did go all the way back there, didn't you? We will bring them back north here. And we will put them in the 56 Army as well as that other unit. Very good. Continuing on, I think. Oh, look at this mechanized unit and what it can do. This is a little exciting. And we have more mechanized down here too. Okay. So let's do this. Let's take this rifle division and let's try to push back this unit. And I think that will give us just a little bit more options here then. We're going to take him forward, and we're going to push through this one lone guy, rout at him. Good. And then I think we're going to come right up here with you. Maybe push them back even further. Oh, and there's an HQ. So let's cut off their HQ from retreating. I like that idea. What other mechanized things do we have? It's not what any of these were intended for, but could any of them get up there? They can. That's an interesting dilemma. Again, not where we intended them to go, but an interesting opportunity. I think what we're going to do is we're going to just take this rifle division up here. We're going to exhaust them to then try to have that HQ cut off. And we're going to be a little daring here, and we're going to try to actually knock this guy out. Yeah, didn't work. Oh well. It was just worth a shot. Wasn't sure what's going to happen there. Okay. And then we'll take some of this congestion we have here and move them up. Push this guy back. Captured another depot. Even better news. and we routed them. Again, I have a horrible habit of jinxing myself, but things are going so well. Ooh, okay. Actually, yeah, here's a motorized unit that we can get up there as well. Let's... Do we actually try to attack it? No, I want to try to cut it off, I think. So let's actually have them come up here. And we got a general killed as well. And 2 depots. And we're going to take this motorized unit to come up here and reinforce them. That's going to make their retreat through here not impossible, but really difficult. And very happy with that outcome. Can this tank corps come up here? It can. We'll have them come here. I'm putting too much emphasis, I now realize, on trapping the 8th Army's HQ. But I think that might have a lot of benefit for us. Let's go use these rifle divisions now to beat up on these guys. So they retreated. And let's have them attack again. Same unit. Halted at quite a range, so that's fine. Let's try and attack here and see what they have. Just wanted the intel on it, really. Okay. Well, we can push through here, I know. So route at them. And we can push through here. Route at them. Great. Let's go forward. Let's push, 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 push. Retreat at them. And now we can come up here with this motorized unit and really start to threaten them and get behind the lines, etc. of their forces. I have another motorized unit that can kind of do the same thing. We're going to be very aggressive here. Going very aggressive. I want to get these depots, frankly, is what this is coming down to. This rifle unit, we're actually going to push on this guy again. They held. Okay, well, I was hoping we can maybe rout them or something. We now have this tank corps. Yeah, so let's see what we want to do here. I want to kind of come up here and take this hill, because that gives us some good defensive cover. We'll come up here, this rifle corps, and we'll go south into this hex. So got another depot, retreat at them. Let's go here. We pushed back that HQ even further now. And we'll go south. Okay. You can push here. That was successful, and you can come forward one. I'm just going to go around you, I think. There's no reason to do otherwise, frankly. We'll come up here with this guy. Bring that rifle corps forward. Let's attack. Yeah, retreat at them. I didn't want them to dig in. That was the thing. So that was good. This HQ, we're just going to bring a little more this direction, I think. We went really crazy up there. We maybe shouldn't have, but we went really crazy up there. Oh, hell, let's go down one more to push that HQ another time. 4th Tank Army can come up here. This rifle corps will come to this side of the line and try to push through whatever's there. That was successful. Let's use then this tank corps to surround them and attack this guy. And we routed him. Good. We'll go forward here with this rifle corps. Got a motorized unit here that we're going to use. Let's have them come south, I think. Yeah, let's go south all the way down here. Okay. This guy's going to go forward and capture this city. I want our mechanized guys literally racing towards Romania here. And we're going to have the infantry follow up. This is actually a great suggestion that we actually had in comments too, and didn't really have like a dedicated plan to it, and as you can tell, we're being a little loose with some of our decision making. But we can try to trigger Romanian exit here from the war if we actually don't know exactly what the trigger is. It might be Budapest, I'm not sure. Bucharest, sorry. Let's push here. Well, yeah, let's push. They held. Okay. The fortifications make it hard to do it when it's not a deliberate attack, but it's worth seeing if we could get in there. This rifle division. Doesn't the Odessa front just look night and day different? It would seem. But that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to take these guys south here. This is all going quite well. This guy can go to refit and just sit in Odessa. Something crazy. Who knows might happen. And we're going to take the 7th Guards Army HQ south now. These guys actually just realized they'd taken back these hexes technically. We might want to... Don't know that we have anything can get there. But we might want to try to address that. Well, anyways, all of this mechanized stuff we're going to have come south to try to support our advance, which is already going quite well. They can come down here. And they can go there. What else do we have? Let's mechanize, that is. There's this one motorized. Wondering if maybe a few of them I send north here to continue exploiting these gaps that we have in the line. I think I will have them come up here, and we're going to change them to not be with the 58th Army. Instead, we're going to put them in the 47th Army. Again, overburdened, but they're going to be okay. So then we have the 58th Army here. And where do we want the 58th Army to go? So let's zoom out a little bit. So... yeah, sorry, I can't believe I said Budapest. Bucharest is where we want to try to race down towards. 58th Army. We probably have enough forces going south here to clear out with Bucharest. I don't know that we have to... I know we're sending the mechanized units down there. And motorized, but I think maybe the infantry elements we could... Boy, it's tempting almost to even throw them at Kiev in the push there. Just to try to get that quickly. Should we maybe do that? Sorry for all the zooming in and out on the eyes. Let's do this. Let's have the 58th Army really conduct a maneuver that's just kind of due west from where they're currently at around Kherson, right? Going to go due west. And what that should allow us to do then is the 47th Army and the 37th Army that are engaged in this pocket. that when these units arrive, they can then push north towards Kiev from the south, and we can have the 58th Army really kind of just take their spot here in this part of the front line. Let's do that. I like how that sounds. So we'll take this Rifle Brigade forward, this Rifle Corps, which is actually part of the 9th Army, so they're a little different. Let's have them come down here just because we do want to try to keep the armies a little bit more together. 58th Army here can come up. One of you might be able to go further. Two of you can go further. 58th Army can go there. I mean, a lot of these are rifle brigades, but the airborne divisions are a little considerable, right, in the help that they'll be able to provide. I think this will work quite nicely. And then the 58th Army we're going to take up here. These mechanized units, we need to make sure we switch now, because otherwise they're going to have serious issues with fuel and such. So should we put them... 7th Guards Army is already pretty well overstacked. The 4th Tank Army, so let's just look at where we had those again. So here's the 4th Tank Army. And the 7th Guards Army is where? Where am I missing this? Oh, there we go. There's the 7th Guards Army. Let's put the mechanized units in the 7th Guards Army. And then these rifle corps we will put into the 4th Tank Army, which is a little reversed from what you would normally think. But just from an administration perspective right now, I think it makes more sense. And it's not going to perfectly balance the books or anything, but it should get us closer. So all of these guys are going to go to the 7th Guards Army. So let's just do those assignments real quick. Excellent. Good. Now I thought I had done something too with the fronts that these HQs were on. It was going to help us kind of color code which units were racing south and which were going north. So I may, the keen observer may have already noticed that I may already be breaking how I had those broken out. So let's revisit that after we go through these changes here. So you can come out of the 4th Tank Army. Oh, it's only letting me off for fronts. Is it because we are just so over capacity, perhaps, in the 7th Guards Army? I don't think so, because we were at 30 when we started. I wonder why that is. Okay, well, you will have to stay there then for now. Missed you. 7th Guards Army. Again, the color coding here is very helpful. I can tell you're not in the right spot. Okay. So this is pretty consistently then the 7th Guards Army down here. That's good. We have the 46th Army that's down here as well. Ah, I'm a moron. 46th Army has plenty of capacity. Okay. And where do I have the 46th Army spread to? So I've got one unit up here for some reason. No, that was the cavalry unit. So let's get you in the 47th Army. Another unit that's, or another HQ that's really overburdened. 4th Tank Army. We'll leave you for next turn. I don't want to flip-flop some of these guys so much in the same turn. The 9th Army is also looking okay. So that's good. No, right here. You can go to the 46 Army. Yeah, so we already moved you. Let's take all the tanks out of the tank army. That seems logical to me. This rifle division we'll put in the 46 Army as well. Just helps alleviate some of that, I think. So the 4th Tank Army now is looking a little bit more manageable. 9th Army actually has some capacity, frankly. So can we put you in the 9th Army? There we go. Boy, these changes are not healthy, but it's just a bit of a living nightmare managing it all. I think this is a pretty good spot and kind of advance that we have here. Really excited to see how far we can get with these guys. Their fuel's at 54%, so I mean, even if they got 0 resupply this turn, they're in a pretty... I mean, they wouldn't be doing great, but they would still be combat effective next turn, and certainly with all of this infantry that we have coming up, I think we would be in a very good position to actually break through anything that might happen. So I think we're sitting nicely here. We're running a little long on time, so I don't think I'm going to spend any effort going through any other administration work. We could, frankly, maybe build a few units, but we're going to leave that to the side for this turn, again, for the sake of time. And we'll go ahead and execute to... We actually won't execute to the next turn because I realized rail repair units. We cannot forget our rail repair units, which I had done. We want to go here just to kind of complete that connection. Then we're going to hop back up over here. And then, given the situation, I'm going to skip past this line here because, my oh my, we really... Oh, what a horrible mistake I've made there. I can't actually continue fixing the railroad there because I've stacked 3. Well, we'll exhaust one of you. It's worth it to get the rail repaired. Okay. So, yeah, you're going to keep coming south, even though there is more opportunity to kind of work in here. Let's do the little highlight short key, Control 9, to see where other rail repair units are, because I think I skipped over a few more. Did I not click Control 9? There we go. Ooh, what do we want to do with you? There's so much opportunity. We have Kursk now. That's a big deal. How to prioritize this, my goodness. You know, Kursk feels like a pretty big deal for getting supplies south, because then it doesn't have to run on this line over here on this side. But equally, fueling the south advance should be a priority. Okay, we're gonna work north towards Kursk. I think that's the decision. So we're gonna follow this 2-way rail line through Belgorod as far north to Kursk as we can get, which of course we won't get there the whole way. Next turn we might be able to have all those rail units repaired, which should then mean 2 turns from now we're seeing rail come north-south through Kursk. Finally. That will be a big deal for us. I don't think we had any other remaining rail repair units to leverage. I think we've already exhausted them. It's looking like we have. All right. So with that, we will now we will actually end turn. Nope, we forgot depot management. I'm all over the place tonight, guys. This is not great. So we'll go ahead and do the depot assist. Now we will in turn. And let's see what we have in terms of AI response. In the north, I think, again, there's some great opportunity for the AI to try to counterattack. In the south, I think they're stretched a little too thin for serious counterattacks. The caveat there is just with how completely wide open the front line is. Just how I was able to advance, 15 hexes behind the previous front line without any interference from the enemy. I've now left a gap where there's 15 hexes that I haven't been able to fill in with my own units either. So we do risk then less of a counterattack and more of a, okay, we've tricked you. We've gotten some of your mechanized units behind the lines now. We're going to cut them off. They'll slowly run out of fuel. Everything will be great. Not terribly worried about that because there are so many risks that come into play with that. For example, I don't think this was some long-term plan that the AI had thought of, because the disruption we're causing by damaging the rail lines, supply lines, the trucks that are going back and forth, the frontline units, that cost just so completely outweighs the benefit they would see from isolating some of our units. So anything that they do manage to do in that perspective, I think, would be by coincidence, maybe a little bit of luck, less so of tactical or strategic planning from a decision-making perspective. Regardless, it's a risk, very open, very fluid situation in the south that we need to be mindful of. And we just need to keep that balance of taking advantage of the situation with aggressiveness, with how far have we stretched supply and overextend it. And I want to come back to an earlier point we made in previous episodes in the north. With all of those armies that were south of Leningrad and our decision to take their supply priority down to a 1, the lowest setting for any HQ, because now this really puts us in a position where as many canisters of fuel, as many shells, as many foodstuffs as can possibly make it to our units that are pressing south do make it there. So if we can have a truck that goes all the way down to that southernmost mechanized unit, we want to make sure that truck is full, not 50% full because we had to split supply with, forces that were camping south of Leningrad on a Boy Scouts trip of some kind. They are counterattacking here where we had tried to cut off that HQ. Looks like they're probably going to be able to get out of this situation, but it's looking like it's going to come at a cost for them. We held one battle, we retreated another. Well, that's a little unfortunate. They actually pushed us out of some hilly terrain there. That should have given us a pretty good defensive advantage. Really now 4 of their counterattacks we've actually held on, which I'm pretty happy about. Did I see that they have retreated out of Minsk? I may have glimpsed that. We'll use that as another cliffhanger to make sure everybody tunes in for, episode 83. Although I gotta say, if you're watching episode 82, you might already be a little hooked or addicted to the playlist. I don't know how many cliffhangers I need if you're still following along to all of this. Really, that seemed to be it from a counterattack perspective, which is good news. They did a couple moves here right where they were surrounded, but there's just nowhere for them to go. It'll be very curious to see where they draw their defensive lines, which is what the AI is kind of calculating right now. We'll leave that, though, for the following episodes, as, again, time's running just a little longer on this episode. Let them do some more air freight transport. Getting a little optimistic, though, looking at some of these little glimpses of the map of just how empty parts of it seem to be. It's very curious. We'll go through our logistics phase here, and then we'll be able to take a look at that end-of-turn summary. But not before we watch the logistics percent calculation go from 78% down to 75%. One of my favorite little things to watch every turn. That and what surprises the computer came up with. It's always nice when a computer surprises you. Not with a blue screen or something like that, but just nice when a computer surprises you. I did not realize until we zoomed out a little bit here too. Maybe I need to zoom out more often during these videos. How terribly close we're getting to Warsaw as well. We could probably put a little bit more of an emphasis on going south here towards Warsaw because there is plenty of infrastructure from a road perspective to get there. Again, I think we've talked about this a lot in previous episodes of just looking where we've advanced in the west here, say around Königsberg, and the infrastructure from rail lines and roads and trails that exist, compared to looking in the east where, you know, all of these swamps like the Pripyat marshes and stuff, right, that we have here, and the just vast contrast in terms of how hard it is to move from one spot to another. We'll just center the camera back on Leningrad for tradition's sake. We see that we have gained 206,000 personnel on the map, almost 3,000 guns. Armor, again, is a negative 34. We're on, I think, like turn 10 of having negative armor net results, which is a little disappointing. Airframes were very positive at 270. The Axis, again, suffering a lot, negative 267 in terms of personnel, negative 3,000 in guns. Again, a little positive for them, though, on the armor, and negative 427 in airframes. Number of units on low supplies at 140. So I think that has actually gone up from some of the previous turns, and I'm going to attribute that largely to, again, that supply priority decision that we made with the units that were south of Leningrad. And unready units look like it actually stayed just about the exact same. We have 4 that are isolated, which we'll have to look at because those may very well be the units that we push south towards Bucharest. So there might, again, be some risk there of what happened. Taking a look at news events. Oh, a lot of news events. So the Allies took Corsica. Southern Italy has fallen. Wow. Romania surrenders. All right, so we did trigger the event by entering Romania properly. So that's probably what triggered the event, and not necessarily having to go all the way to Bucharest. So let's look a little bit more at this. So many Romanian forces switch sides and begin fighting for the Soviets. Gotcha. So Romania surrenders, and Bulgaria surrenders to Soviet Union, set to active an event date to 14 days from the current date. So that means in a couple of turns here, we'll see that happen. Soviet Union offensive on Belgrade set to active, and the event is going to trigger in 28 days. The newly reconstituted pro-Soviet 1st and 4th Romanian armies have their delays set to 1. Okay, fair enough. And our Balkans air requirements decreased to 0, so we can actually probably take some airframes, air assets out of one of the theater boxes. So that's a positive as well. We, of course, see the traditional bombing campaigns over Germany. There was, again, a garrison shortage in Italy, so we know that we know that our advances are not because the Axis are throwing all their personnel on the West Front. As a matter of fact, they're suffering in both. The Northwest European campaign advances. So I may have missed this. I don't think we've seen a D-Day or a second front open up. So I'm wondering if this Northwestern European campaign events just means that maybe D-Day or an invasion of Western Europe are going to happen sooner than it historically did. Because right now we are just a little bit less than a year away from the historical events. So, well, yeah, roughly, we're a little off there. Partisans, and partisans as usual. What a turn. This is exciting. I can't wait for 2 episodes from now as well to explore what kind of the southern half of the map looks like now with the surrender of Romania and all the units we might have at our disposal there from that. I'm really glad that we made that decision then for, I can't remember the army number, it may have been the 58th Army, to move them west as opposed to starting to direct all those airborne divisions south towards Romania. I think that would have been a little unnecessary. So I'm glad that we made that decision. Overall, been a great time, really enjoying all these videos. we will be seeing some new content coming to the channel. I will say it's not going to be Gary Grigsby's War in the West, although we will go back to that playlist. The War in the West playlist, we will revisit. We will make that active again. But it's not going to be the next content that's coming to the channel. So please stay tuned for that. I think it'll be a game that folks will be a little interested in, and we'll mix it up so that way it's not every single day us talking about the Stalingrad to Berlin scenario. Any questions, feedback, thoughts you may have, please, as always, leave them in the comments section below. Really appreciate your amazing support and the engagement that you have with the channel. It's just so nice to see folks get excited about this game, the topics in general, and to support these niche games is really a wonderful thing. As always, strategy gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.